All right, today we're going to talk about something huge. That shift from just surviving to really thriving. We're going to break down a framework that could, honestly, change how you deal with, well, everything.
So let me just start with a really honest question. Do you ever feel like you're just getting by? You know that feeling like you're treading water? You're not exactly sinking, but you're for sure not making any ground? It's this feeling of just languishing.
And this really gets at the heart of it, right? It's a tale of two states. On one hand, you've got surviving. This is when you feel like life is just happening to you. You're being pushed around by events, kind of like a victim of circumstance. But then there's thriving. And that's when you feel like you're in the driver's seat. You're in control. What you do has meaning. And when you get knocked down, you bounce right back. It's literally the difference between being a passenger and grabbing the steering wheel.
And here's the thing, the one constant for everyone, stress. It doesn't matter if you're surviving or thriving, life is going to throw stuff at you. You know, money problems, pressure at work, issues at home, that stuff happens to everybody. So the real difference isn't about what happens to us. It's all about how we respond to it.
Okay, so how do we even begin to understand our different responses? Well, we're going to use this really simple but honestly super powerful metaphor. Think of it as a way to give us all a common language. Let me introduce you to the three buses. Each one is a totally different mindset.
So let's just put them all side by side for a second. You've got the red bus and the green bus. They're both defensive, right? One points the finger, the other ducks for cover. But the blue bus? That's constructive. It's built on a foundation of taking ownership. And really, the goal for all of us is to try and spend as much time as we can driving on that blue bus. So, the big question is, how do we actually get on the blue bus and stay there? What's the engine that even makes that choice possible? Well, it all boils down to one single critical skill. The skill that lets you consciously choose how you're going to respond. And that skill is emotional intelligence. You can think of it as a meta skill. It's almost like a superpower, really. And it's got two key parts. First, just being aware of your own emotions and your own thinking. That's self-awareness. And the second part is being able to manage or regulate those emotions and thoughts so you can actually achieve your goals. And that's self-control. So why is this such a big deal? Because emotional intelligence is basically the key that unlocks the door to thriving. It's what lets you perform at your best, tackle problems head-on, and build up that resilience you need to handle stress without getting completely overwhelmed. It's what puts you back in the driver's seat.
And you know what? We can actually break this whole big idea down into two super simple but seriously powerful questions. The first one, for self-awareness, is just asking yourself, which bus am I driving right now? And the second one, for self-control, is, okay, which bus do I choose to drive? I mean, that's it. That's emotional intelligence in action, right there.
Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Well, that's just not me. I'm just a red bus person, or whatever. But here is the most empowering part of this whole conversation. Emotional intelligence is not a fixed trait. It's a skill. And just like any other skill, you can get better at it with practice. And look, don't just take my word for it. Let's look at some incredible research. There's this thing called the Dunedin study out of New Zealand. It's one of the longest, most detailed studies on human development ever. They've been following over 1,000 people since they were born way back in the 70s, tracking pretty much everything about their lives. And what they found was just stunning. You'd think things like IQ or how much money your family had would be the big predictors of success, right? Wrong. They had a surprisingly small impact. The single biggest predictor of how healthy, wealthy, and happy someone would be as an adult was their level of self-control when they were a kid. I mean, that's huge. This skill really, really matters.
And this brings us to the absolute best news of all. Because unlike something like IQ, emotional intelligence isn't set in stone. It's a skill you can develop. It's like a muscle. With practice, you can literally build up your self-awareness and your self-control, just like you'd build up your biceps at the gym.
Look, nobody goes from surviving to thriving in one giant leap. It just doesn't work that way. It's a journey, and it's made up of all the little, conscious choices we make every single day. It's about how you respond to that annoying email or that traffic jam or that tough conversation. It's all about one small step at a time. So let's make this super practical. Here is a simple mental habit you can start using like right now. 3 steps. First, when you feel that stress rising, just pause and ask, which bus am I driving? That's step 1, awareness. Second, get curious.
What's the blind spot here? What am I not seeing? And then finally, you make the choice. Okay, which bus do I choose to drive?
It's those small daily choices that really add up and create massive change over time. So I'm going to leave you with this one thought. The next time you hit a roadblock or just have one of those days, ask yourself that question. Which bus will I choose? Because at the end of the day, that choice, it's always yours.